Okay, so here's the thing. So with our conference, we get 40 minutes. All right. So and we started at 7:58, I think. So I got to pay attention to the time. Can you still see me? Hold on. All
Yeah.
right. So I'm loving that we get the opportunity to do this because, you know, as you guys have seen over the past several months, we've been connecting a lot on the Facebook page, and we all live all over the place. My goal is always to try to get you to a local meeting wherever you are, but sometimes, like poor Caroline, we couldn't even. You just sent me a message. That's pretty cool. Can you guys see the message from Caroline?
Yeah, I can.
I didn't know how that works. So anyway, so poor Caroline, like, lives all the way up in Vermont, and we hadn't been able to find a director near her. So we did a lot over the phone, and obviously you've seen Caroline connecting with us on Facebook. But we finally, there's a new director in her area, so we finally got her plugged in. But for various reasons, we need an alternative to the, you know, in-person meeting. And so this is something that I wanted to give a shot. So I'm glad. Part of it is the connection that we can all make together, and then, you know, just the fact that it's also an alternative to, not an alternative, but an extra addition that we can do to regular meetings. Okay, so I wanted to just tell you what I thought that the format would be. Regularly, a big part of Mary Kay is recognition, and I want to celebrate everything that you guys are going for in your own business. So one of the things that I would like to do weekly is recognize personal sales and activity. So I'm going to invite you all to go on to In Touch when you get a chance and to get familiar with the weekly accomplishment sheet. Not just for recognition purposes, but because at the end of the year, it's really awesome for you to be able to have all your sales logs and all of your receipts and expenses that you be able to write off as a real legitimate tax deduction. And I think that you also need to be seeing how much money you're making. So the weekly accomplishment sheet is really important to keep you organized and to have all that information at your fingertips. And so when you submit your weekly accomplishment sheet, you'll be able to send it to me online. So you'll also have a copy that stays online, but then I'll also get a copy of it. So if you can get it to me on Tuesdays by noon, we'll be able to do recognition when we get on, I'm sorry, Wednesdays by noon. We'll be able to do recognition on our conference call. All right. So, and then before we get off tonight, please remind me if I didn't ask you, I gotta find a place to write this down. I want to know some of the things that you want us to address as we go on over the weeks. Of course, I want to be talking about topics that are important to you. So if there's any specific brainstorming you'd like to do or specific training, please let me know. I do have a rotation of things I'd like to cover, and of course, like we will start to talk about things to do for the holidays and ways that you can be really effective at selling gifts, and even just getting people on the go, because getting close to November, December, people are going to be super busy. And so there are alternatives to the regular skincare class. Okay. So, all right, I want to talk to you about what's going on with the company. I'm sorry if I'm looking down, I have to look at my notes a little bit. There is a ton going on in October. So the company is doing something that's called double credit. Was anybody in last year on our team when the company did double credit?
I remember.
Who's that? Kate?
Kate.
Yes. So double credit is exciting because what the company does is they count double everything that you do in sales and everything that you do in team building. And you may hear us make reference to the seminar year. And what the seminar year means is basically our fiscal year. So our fiscal year runs from July 1st into June 30th of every year. And at the end of that year, on June 30th, the company has specific measures and places where you can try to achieve. So there's the Queen's Court of Sales and the Princess Court of Sales. And so what happens is the company doubles everything that you do in October towards those unit goals. And so it's super exciting. So they're doing it in terms of not just sales, but also in team building. So I wanted you guys to know what I put together as our unit goal. And I might throw up if I tell you, but I'm going to tell you anyway. All right, you ready? Can you see this? 20,000 wholesale. Now, the reason why I selected 20,000 wholesale is because this time last year we did 16,000, and it was our highest month ever as a unit. We maximized the double credit when they offered it last year, and we got huge recognition by the company for doing that. Not like collectively, all of us were just recognized as an awesome unit, and so it was very exciting. So here's why I picked 20,000, because 20,000 is the maximum that we can do for double credit. But also our unit size is slightly bigger now than it was at the same time last year. So I think that we can do it. And so I'm just putting it out there because you're supposed to make your goals, make you a little scared. So it means you have to kind of walk in faith and see what God's going to do. So the reason why 20,000 is so cool is because the wholesale amount is 20,000, which means that the retail amount is 40,000. And when the company does their recognition for units to achieve a certain amount in sales at the end of the year, they base it on retail. So the fact is that if 20,000 is typically 40,000 retail, then double credit means that when we do 20,000, it's going to count for 80,000, which is insane, and it's totally awesome. And for those of you who have ever been to seminar, I know that some of you have and some of you haven't, or even career conference, you know that the company is really big on recognition. And so this goal is not just for me, because we are a collective unit. And so when we get that recognition, we get to, celebrate in it all together. So I just know that we can do it, and I'm putting it out there. So some of the other things that I have goals for that I wanted to share with you, and I included that in the email that I sent today, are 15 new unit members. I know that we can do this too. So 15 new unit members is also going to be the most that we've ever done in a month. But again, I really believe that we can do it. So, perhaps when we're done with the call sometime in the next 24 hours, just kind of reach out to me personally and tell me what you would like to do. Everything that we talk about, my desire is for it to be, personal to you. I have shared with many consultants over time that I don't like to just put out a big, I don't have any kind of requirement of anybody. I want everybody to tell me what they want to get from their business. And so I think it's important to share the overall unit goal, but then of course break it down for each person, because I want you to be getting what you want out of it. And so I hope that you feel that you can work with me to, to figure out what your own personal goals are. But I just think it's important for you to know what we're shooting for. So there's a lot of ways for you all to win this month in terms of what these goals are. One is based on activities. So in the email that I sent, I think I sent it last night. Forgive me, I don't remember exactly. I think it did land last night, because then today you got a recognition email. So last night I sent the email that had the squares contest. Does that look familiar? Go back to the email I sent. And you can see this picture in the email, but there's also a link to click it so that you can print it out. And what I love about this is that it's based on activity. So it's not based on, an amount of sales or an amount of team building. What it is it's based on activity. All of these squares are things that you can do. And when you do it by the end of the month and send it to me in the beginning of November, you're going to earn product from me, and you know that there are new products coming out. So I love this because some people are motivated by activity. Instead of saying I have a sales goal, a dollar sales goal, or a team building goal, they say, I know that if I just do the activity, I'm going to be successful. So that's why I put this out there. So that's one thing to take a look at. The other thing that I'm going to do is every month, and this is not just October, but in every month when we add 10 new unit members, we're going to do a drawing for $100 cash. So this is my little tracking sheet. with 10 envelopes on it. And so theoretically, there's a $100 bill in one of those envelopes. And so whenever we get a new team member, the person who brought the new team member in gets their name on the envelope. And when we get 10, then at the end of the month, I'm just going to open one of the envelopes, and whichever one has $100 in it has somebody's name on it. Okay? So we're going to be doing that drawing as well. I'm going to talk to you about what are some of the really good ways to be sharing our company information. The other thing that you may have seen in that email, but I also posted it on the Facebook page, is that we're going to do a promotion for Red Jackets this month. Now, I always believe that building your team and moving into Red Jacket is a great place to be. Even if you never want to be a car driving consultant in Mary Kay, even if you never have a goal to be a director, a great place to be is Red Jacket, meaning that you have 3 people on your team. And why it's awesome is because it's really fun to have a power partner. So for instance, Emma, who is Stacy's recruiter, Emma has been talking to me about doing some promotions, and she's going to be doing a like a vendor table at a Retro Fitness. Also, like Danielle today, we were talking about some of the promotional tables that you were going to be doing, and it's really fun to have somebody do it with you. You know, I know that Danielle reached out to Cindy, who is a consultant on our team in Texas, and you know, Emma has people on her team to reach out to too, just to have some fun. So the great thing about it is that you get to do fun things together. So that's one benefit of it. The other benefit is that because Mary Kay does not have a, you know, a human resource department, they're not out, they don't have recruiters that are corporate, you know, from corporate, they reward the recruiters for bringing quality people in. And so every single month that you and your team member are active, you will get a commission on what your team does. And even if you are just dabbling a little bit with your Mary Kay business, I know many of you want to be working, you know, actively with your business, but even if you're just working minimally with your business, as long as you're active and your person is active, you're going to be getting a commission on their sales. And so listen, extra money, I have said to every consultant, even if you want to make it a career, or even if you want Mary Kay as a hobby, I want to try to get as much money into your pocket as possible. So the company is giving those love checks, and I'd love all of you to get them. So when you become a Star Team Builder, which is a Red Jacket this month, you see my little pic collage on Facebook that you're going to either be able to choose red heels or the red handbag from me. And if you're already a Red Jacket, then you just need to get 2 more people on your team. So if this is something that you would like to work on, I would love to, you know, talk to you about that separately, about some of the techniques that you can use to build your team. Okay. The other thing is, this is a picture of our unit app on the App Store. So, and we also have a website that goes along with this. If you have already downloaded this from iTunes, it's called My Unit App. If you've already downloaded it like weeks ago, the web developer told me that you need to go in and update it because he's added some new things. The app is awesome. Stacey, I sent you an email a little while ago, and it was a video that Cindy did, and it was actually on her app, and I was able to just click it and email it to myself and review it and then send it to you. So the app is awesome because you can have it on the go and you can send people videos and all kinds of things. You know, I tend to be a perfectionist, and it took me a long time to get it out there because it's still not perfect, but finally I said enough is enough. I just got to get it out there. So I will be adding things as we go, but it is an active app. And then the website is www.shineunit.pink, and the username is Shine and the password is MK. So please use it, and if there's anything that you want to see on the app, please give me feedback because I am really brainstorming about this a lot, and you know, I want to know what kind of resources that you guys feel that you need. Okay, so that's what's going on this month in you know, in terms of specifically with our unit. And does anybody have any questions right now? Because then I want, if not, I want to move on to a little piece of inspiration / training. something that happened in the past couple of days that I want to tell you about, and then I just want to tell you about this awesome book. If any of you know Darren Hardy, the success guy, he is the editor, the I guess editor-in-chief publisher of Success Magazine, and this is a really, really awesome book, The Compound Effect. And I want to read you a little.
Who wrote it?
But tell me what questions you have right now.
Who wrote it?
Darren Hardy.
Thank you.
This is a really, you know what? I love reading, but if it's too heavy and it's not like conversational, it doesn't move along, it's really hard for me to pay attention. This is a really easy read, and it's very, very significant, bits of wisdom. Okay. So any questions? Does anybody have anything right now? No? Okay. So I have been thinking about my productivity. Obviously, you know that Mary Kay is my full-time thing. And so while that is great for me, because I have a lot of flexibility with my time, it could also be extremely overwhelming in terms of, like, if I'm not self-disciplined, I'm not going to get anything done. Because it's very easy to start running errands or to cook or to go for a run or, so I need to be really, really strategic about doing my business and doing my income producing activities. So what I found myself doing a lot as a director is doing a lot of things that were organizational, emails, inspiration, trying to make sure that I do all the right correspondence, all of that. And then I was finding that at the end of the day, I would say, oh, I didn't have any time to call customers. And I thought, okay, but that's a big part of the way that I make my money. And that is a big part of what we do in this business. So it really wasn't acceptable in my eyes for me to just say that I ran out of time. So what I did was I really looked at, what was going to work for me. And I decided this only works for me. I'm not saying this is the only way to do it, but here's what I decided. I decided that at 4 o'clock every day that I was going to be doing my phone time. And I was going to be reaching out to people for an hour. And typically I like to do customer service for an hour because I do have an extremely large customer base. Remember, I've been in Mary Kay 16 years. I have a lot of people to call. I know if you're just getting started, it may be a little bit different for you in terms of the amount of time that you put to it, but I really can spend an hour. Maybe for you getting started, it's 15 minutes a day, all right? But for me, it was an hour. And I was doing that for a full hour, and then I started to do exactly the same thing, except that the task was reaching out to people for booking appointments and or coaching the appointments that I already have. So let me tell you what happened. On Friday, it was the last day of the month, and you know that a lot of consultants need my help and correspond with me on the last day. So I was in front of my computer and I spent about 2 hours reaching out to customers. Remember, these are people that I've already had a facial with, and they're what I consider to be in my customer base. So by the end of the day, I had sold over $300 to my customers, just texting them, okay? Now, I would just want you to know, I'm not telling you any of this to be impressive. I'm not trying to like say how awesome I am. Not trying to be impressive. I'm trying to just impress upon you that the same thing can happen to you. And I want you to see what happens when you do consistent activity over a length of time. And that's what I learned in the compound effect. So I reached out to my customers and I sold $300 and change. I don't remember exactly. I didn't total exactly, but I know it was around 300 or a little over. So Monday rolls around and I do the same thing. Tuesday rolls around and I sold $150 yesterday to somebody who reached out to me. But then what happened was some of the people that I reached out to on Friday who I did not hear from got back to me. So then today, the same thing. I spent an hour, a couple people got back to me, but I'm thinking as I continue to do this, they may not get back to me right away. But if I'm doing it every day, then somebody who I reached out to 3 days ago is going to get back to me. So really kind of the moral of the story is that you kind of have to just be dedicated to the activity and not necessarily look at the results immediately, because it's really what the results are over a period of time that matters. Now, if you said to me, Lisa, I spent a whole month's worth of reaching out to people and I spent an hour on the phone and I didn't sell anything to anybody, then we probably have to have a conversation. Like maybe the script is off, or maybe the clientele has, is not the right target market or something. That would probably indicate to us that there's a problem, but you can't make that determination after trying it just once. And so, consistent activity. Now, some of you on the line, maybe sitting there saying, yeah, well, like there's no way I'm going to spend an hour on the phone every day and then I'm going to spend another hour booking, and that's fine. That's why I'm saying that you want to tailor it to you. Like maybe you're just going to take 15 minutes. But the reason why I'm making this so important to discuss is because I want you guys making money. And the last thing I want to do is see you get frustrated because you try something and don't see an immediate result, okay? So I promise you that consistency over time, but it's the equation. It's those two things. It's not just doing a big blast and then never doing it again. So I hope that makes sense. And I want to read you a clip in this, Darren, this compound effect. So, all right, I'm going to be reading from the book, so I'm looking down, but listen to this. So he says that small, smart choices plus consistency plus time equals a radical difference. So those were 3 elements, right? Not just one. So it's small, smart choices, consistency, and time equals a radical difference. So here's a story about the magic penny. Has anybody ever heard this story, the magic penny? Okay. So, all right, here's the magic penny. If you were given a choice between taking $3 million in cash this very instant and a single penny that doubles in value every day for 31 days, which would you choose? If you've heard this before, you know the penny is the choice you should make. You know it's the course that will lead to greater wealth. Yet, why is it so hard to believe choosing the penny will result in more money in the end? Because it takes so much longer to see the payoff. So let's take a closer look. Let's say you take the cold hard cash and your friend goes the penny route. On day 5, your friend has 16 cents. You, however, have 3 million. On day 10, it's $5.12 versus your big bucks. How do you think your friend is feeling about her decision? You're spending your millions, enjoying the heck out of it, and loving your choice. After 20 full days, with only 11 days left, Penny Lane has only $5,243. How is she feeling herself at this point? For all her sacrifice and positive behavior, she has barely more than 5,000. You, however, have 3 million. Then the invisible magic of the compound effect starts to become visible. The same small mathematical growth, improvement, each day makes the compounded penny worth $10,737,418.24 on day 31. More than 3 times your 3 million. In this example, we see why consistency over time is so important. On day 29, you've got your 3 million. Penny Lane has around 2.7 million. It isn't until day 31 that she pulls ahead in the race. And it isn't until the very last day of this month-long ultra marathon that your friend blows you out of the water. She ends up with over 10 million compared to your 3 million. Very few things are impressive as the magic of compounding pennies. Amazingly, this force is equally powerful in every area of your life. So it's just a small illustration to say that whatever activity is that you guys are going to choose to do. And like I said, each one of you on the line, I know that I have spoken to each of you personally, and some of you want to work Mary Kate full time, and some of you want a little bit of extra cash in your pocket. But either way, I promise you that if you just choose a small, consistent activity, and if you want more, your activity has to be greater. But if you want a little something, your activity can be smaller, but it is the consistency that is the important piece. And then the last part of this just says the ripple effect, that the results shown in that example that I gave seem dramatic, but it goes deeper than that. And the reality is that even one small change can have a significant impact that causes an unexpected and unintended ripple effect. So, you know, you can think about the same thing, like, you know, I used to be a dietitian. That was like what I got my degree in. And I used to do cardiac rehab. And so people would get mad at me because they would say, I just want you to give me a diet. And I would say, I don't want to give you a diet. I want you to tell me what you eat every day. Because if you tell me that you eat eggs every day, if you tell me that you eat eggs every day, I'm going to help you to work that in. But if you tell me you eat oatmeal for breakfast, why am I going to tell you to eat eggs, and vice versa? So what I knew even back then was that if they could give me what they were already doing and just make a small, consistent step towards change, but the piece that was the most important was going to be the consistency of that change. Because it didn't matter if somebody who was eating eggs every day, who just went through cardiac rehab, just decided that they were going to start drinking kale juice, right? But if they were only going to do that 3 days in a row and go back to bacon and eggs and cream cheese, like, it wasn't going to work, right? So whatever it is that you decide to do, and I do really want to help you with that, just plan to be consistent with it. And I promise you that you're going to see the results. So I have sold over $700 since Friday, and I can't even believe it, because I kept doing it, and I was just like, I don't care if they get back to me or not. The other thing I want to give you hope about is this. You may think that people are not paying attention to the stuff that you send out to them just because they don't respond, but don't make that assumption, because I'll tell you what, I get an email from New York & Company every single day, and I probably shop there once or twice a year. So if they were to assess, well, should we keep sending stuff to her because, you know, she doesn't really respond? But the reality is, if I didn't get their stuff, I would be like, where's my stuff? I want to hear from them. I want to know when they're having a sale. So what happened the other day was that somebody texted me and said, Lisa, I need a firming eye cream. And I'm like, okay, this person, ladies, I have not heard from since the first time I met with her. She was a guest at a bridal appointment that I did. And I thought, you know, I could have easily said, I'm never going to reach out to her because she doesn't buy anything from me. But you know what? She just went into my system, and now I'm just going to send a text or something, a text or an email or something every 2 months, and whatever she orders. So the point is that it was such a little bit of effort for me. All I had to do was send her a little something, and it came around. But you just need to have enough people to be doing that with. But I promise you, if you do the consistency and you will keep just throwing the mud against the wall, something will stick. So don't get discouraged and keep doing it. Please promise me you're going to keep doing it. But you know that what I really, really want to do is make sure that I'm talking to each one of you individually to say, you know, what do you want? How much money do you want to make? Because, again, sorry to be a broken record, but if somebody wants to make a career income, they got to be doing a little bit more activity than somebody who just wants $200 extra a month. And it really doesn't matter what either person wants. It's just going to be the amount of activity that they do is just going to look a little bit different. So does that make sense? Okay, awesome. So, and the last thing I want to say, because this conference is going to shut off in a couple minutes on me because we only had the 40 minutes. I also want to tell you that I hope that you will tell yourself that you're not going to be afraid to hear no, and that you're going to keep going even if people say no and they don't respond. Because I've been trying to book this one person since July. I met her at my first party that I did in Charlotte. She was a guest. She kind of looked a little bit disinterested, but I was like, well, she wasn't mean or anything, and she didn't tell me no. So I just put it on a rotation of, contacting her like every 2 or 3 weeks or so. Well, don't you know, she got back to me today. And by the way, I didn't text her today. I texted her the other day. And she said, okay, I'm ready to have a party. And I sent her a little pic collage of my availability 2 days ago. And she got back to me and she said, okay, October 21st. And I was like, I got to tell you, my jaw almost hit my laptop. I was like, what? I mean, she really wasn't engaging with me fully and all that excited, but she also didn't say no. And I could tell that she was there a little bit. So I wasn't obnoxious, and I didn't text her 3 times a day or even every day, but I text her like once every 2 weeks. And now we have a party happening. So I just promise you, keep doing it, even if you think they're not paying attention. And if people don't want you to text them, they'll tell you. Today I got a reorder. This is what I'll end with. I got a reorder from somebody because she was in my hour of booking time today. And she's in New Jersey. And, a lot of my customers are in New Jersey. And I thought, how could I work with these people to do bookings? So I said, hey, I'm looking for people who might be interested in doing Facebook parties. And she literally said, no, thanks. I'm not interested in a Facebook party. And I said, awesome. Thank you so much for your order. And I really appreciate your business. And she was like, thumbs up and happy smile face. And I thought, okay, I got to know. And I didn't die. And she still likes me. And it's okay. But the reality is, if you don't ask, the answer is going to be no anyway. So that's my parting wisdom. And you guys have been awesome. I'm really glad that you joined us tonight because I love seeing your face and being connected with you. And like I said, if you want a really good book to read, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy is awesome. Awesome, easy read. It was recommended by Cindy, and I love every minute reading this book. So, all right. I will see you guys next week. Please message me privately and tell me what you would like to work on. If any of those goals this month that we're shooting for as a unit are exciting or appealing to you, please let me know. Whatever help you need, reach out. Mwah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.